everyone, I'm Lamp, and welcome to the Mark of Mastery, a Super Smash Bros. 2 Beta Sora guide. Sora is the main protagonist of the Kingdom Hearts series. He lives on the Destiny Islands with his best friends Riku and Kairi, and all three of them initially had dreams of venturing from the islands to find out what lied beyond. His home was consumed by darkness, sending him on a journey to many worlds across the realm of light. He travels with his new friends Goofy and Donald Duck in search of his missing friends, and uses his newly acquired weapon, the Keyblade, to put an end to the threats that destroyed his world. Sora is an eternal optimist, always looking on the bright side of the situation at hand. Although he can be simple-minded at times, he has a strong sense of justice. Originally lacking any formal training, Sora relies on a style developed from his play fighting days. He rests his Keyblade pointing away from him toward his right side and attacks with sweeping, two-handed strikes, similar to a club, to beat his foes into submission. His raw determination makes him an unstoppable powerhouse, and with the addition of a basic repertoire of techniques and spells, few are able to fight on his level. As he develops as a Keyblade wielder, he becomes faster and more experienced in using the environment and his enemy's momentum to unleash more powerful techniques in the form of reaction commands and Flowmotion. He also begins to incorporate his spells into his sword techniques, usually favoring light-based magic, to create a plethora of commands that attack on both a physical and magical level. Sora uses the Keyblade as his main weapon throughout his game, and this is carried over into SSF2. Each of Sora's attacks comes straight from his appearances in the Kingdom Hearts series, and retain his flexible style, allowing him to string quick, grounded and aerial moves together with ease. Sora is able to attack similarly to Falcon or Fox, with his excellent dash dance approaching neutral air that has good priority, and dash attack that covers a large distance. However, he doesn't have many super safe ground moves to follow up with, and so usually does better trying to land behind his opponent, especially if they're in shield. Using cross-up nairs and dash attack can both shield poke an opponent and start a combo. He can also use down tilt to approach similar to the way Marth can, and grabbing with Sora can lead to a lot of damage, allowing for some basic but potent mix-ups. Because his moves and ground speed are so quick, Sora's movement can often look erratic, as he darts around to the stage to the exact location he needs to be, either to punish a retreating opponent, bait out a whiff defensive move, or continue his offense. Sora has absolutely no shortage of combo starters, the most common of which are his throws, his dash attack, and Flowmotion. All of these lead to Sora's strongest asset, his insane combo game. Sora can get incredible damage on pretty much the entire cast, even able to 0 to death some characters consistently. Sora also has no issues killing any of these characters, as his forward air, forward smash, and down special are extremely powerful options. Once he gets the enemy off the ground, he can use moves like dash attack, up tilt, and forward air to apply pressure, forcing the opponent off stage. The real danger comes when Sora has them off stage, as he's one of the best edge guarders in the game. Forward air strings pretty much guarantee a stock loss, and he has plenty of ways to set them up. Throws, combos, and any strong attack can force your opponent to be one bad decision away from death at any given time. He is extremely deadly against fast fallers such as Fox, Falco, and Captain Falcon because of his up throw combos and efficient edge guarding against them. Even characters like Sheik and Isaac are prone to early F-smash kills, as they can be pushed off stage into an edge guard as well. Because swords, and by extension the Keyblade, are not part of the human body, Sora is safe to swing at enemies even when they are already in the middle of an attack, provided that the user has very good timing. Sora can also be aggressive like Fox, but the way he does so is completely different. Instead of being close up to his opponent, he prefers to restrict their movement using his incredible range and speed. However, Sora cannot simply run over his opponents, spamming attacks quickly. Sora players must be knowledgeable and systematic about what moves they choose in all situations, which can sometimes make the learning curve a bit steeper than some would like. Again, the Keyblade being separated from his body allows for interruptions few other characters can match. This, coupled with his speed off the ledge, makes it next to impossible to make it back to the stage if Sora knows what he's doing. Sora uses the Keyblade for each of his normals, so as such, he has good range on each of them. Sora's jab is a very quick slicing move, reminiscent of his initial strike from Kingdom Hearts. As Sora pulls the Keyblade behind his head, the hitbox for jab begins as the blade begins its descent downward. This gives jab a surprisingly high hitbox that can be used as an anti-air in some situations. Jab is a quick combo starter with little end lag, which is commonly followed up with grabs, strike raid, or forward smash. Jab is a very versatile move that should be used often. Using dash cancelling, Sora is able to move around the stage with ease and can position himself at exactly the range he needs to be at, allowing a safe strike. This is one of Sora's safer options. Forward tilt is a bit more situational than jab. Sora swings the Keyblade horizontally, in a motion similar to his basic combo finisher. The Keyblade swings from the left side of his body to his right, knocking his opponent backwards a moderate distance. As the Keyblade nears the end of its swing, Sora thrusts his arm out just a little bit, allowing the Keyblade to hit behind him as well. This move is probably the most limiting out of Sora's entire kit, so I suggest using it sparingly. Up tilt is a great move in which Sora very quickly swings the Keyblade over his head, starting in front of him and ending behind him. This move is extremely quick, allowing it to combo into itself at low percents, netting juggle opportunities on a lot of characters. Using running up tilt to cross up your opponent is a very good tactic, as Sora's Keyblade reaches behind him at the end of the move. This is one of Sora's very useful combo starters and extenders. Down tilt, as noted earlier, is very similar to Mars down tilt in animation and application. Sora very quickly thrusts his Keyblade, sliding it across the ground. While Sora's down tilt does not cover as much range as Marth's, it is quite useful in application. It acts similar to Roy's down tilt from Melee, where it pops your opponent up, allowing for combo opportunity. Because of the quickness of this move and the pressure it provides, it is a very good move to incorporate into your movement and edgeguarding game. It is also worth noting that down tilt is one of Sora's quickest moves, and that he is also crouching while performing this action, reducing the size of his hurt box. Sora's dash attack is based off his sliding dash ability, which Sora used to approach from a distance in Kingdom Hearts, and that transfers over to the purpose of dash attack in SSF2. Sora slides on the ground, his Keyblade sticking out in front of him the entire time, and it's quite useful because it has just so many applications. As a disjointed move being separate from Sora's body, you are able to interrupt most grounded approaches safely, as dash attack has no end lag, and with proper spacing, can put you in favorable positional advantage. On hit, dash attack pops the enemy into the air, and into a favorable situation for Sora, so he can instantly begin applying pressure with aerial since dash attack has no end lag as the hitbox ends. Because of the long duration of dash attack and its disjoint, it can be used at the ledge as an edge guarding option, popping your opponent up, allowing for follow-ups. Overall, Sora's dash attack stands out as a fairly solid ground option, beating out most of the other characters' dash attacks, making it a somewhat safe dash attack similar to Cloud's in Smash 4. Sora's up smash is Arrow, a wind spell that Sora used during his adventures in Kingdom Hearts as a defensive spell. In SSF2, however, Sora has learned to use Arrow as an offensive tool. Sora raises his Keyblade straight into the air, and a gust of wind surrounds it, damaging whatever hits it multiple times. Sora's up smash has very good vertical range, allowing him to hit enemies that are above him without losing grounded stage control. It can poke through each bottom platform of the current legal stages. Down smash is Sora's explosion ability. Explosion, in Kingdom Hearts, is an ability that provides Sora with a ground combo finisher in which he brings down his Keyblade, generating a revolving circle of exploding orbs of light. In SSF2, these orbs of light start small as they revolve around Sora, dealing multiple hits, and then they explode into a bigger orb, having little knockback but popping your opponent upward, allowing for a follow-up. Because of the small knockback and somewhat longer animation, down smash is not to be used in neutral, but rather when your opponent is near the ledge or if you're reading a roll behind you. Down smash near the ledge, when spaced properly, is completely separate from Sora's body, as it's a magic spell. The end explosion part of down smash has a bigger hitbox, allowing it to hit opponents that attempt to recover low or hang on the ledge longer than their invincibility lasts. Forward smash is by far Sora's best killing option. Sora thrusts the Kingdom Key in front of him with lots of force, sending his opponents flying. It's a relatively quick move with lots of range, allowing for liberal use of it in edge guarding, his punish game, and can even be safe in neutral with proper spacing due to its long reach. The hitbox covers the entire Keyblade the whole time it's out, with little downtime when Sora finally pulls back in and resumes a fighting stance. Jab into forward smash works quite reliably on the whole roster, allowing for a good, quick kill confirm. Sora has fast, low-lag aerials, good reach in them. His strongest aspect is his air game, which is where his combo ability shines the most, since he is able to take advantage of his decent aerial drift and slower fall speed to move around and stay in the air, as he is able to carry the whole cast up, down, and all around the whole stage. His aerials don't have landing leg, allowing for smooth transition from air to ground combat, just like in Kingdom Hearts. Sora's neutral air has him spinning with the keyblade thrust outwards twice. This move has excellent priority, and is one of the two aerials that allow Sora to stay in the air just a little bit longer, as it pops him up, allowing links into his other air moves reminiscent of an air combo in Kingdom Hearts. It is also Sora's longest lasting aerial, and with its quick startup, it's good at intercepting other aerial approaches and crossing up opponents. Forward air is one of Sora's best aerial moves. Sora does a flip, with the keyblade slashing whatever is in front of him. Fair has low startup and end lag, making it a very versatile move. It can start, extend, and end combos, and is a very valuable asset in edgeguarding and moving around in his neutral game. Forward air can combo into itself at many percents on the entire cast, allowing you to have somewhat of a death touch move at low to mid percents, since one fair will lead into another, allowing you to carry your opponent off stage. At higher percents, forward air will kill outright. It doesn't have as much knockback as forward smash, but with good spacing, this move can be safe in many situations. Sora slashes at a slightly upward angle behind him for back air. It has good reach, speed, and knockback, and is great at the ledge to intercept horizontal recoveries. It's also safe on shield if spaced properly, and is overall a pretty good move for the situations when you're facing away from your opponent. Up air is an upward slice that is extremely fast, with such little end lag that Sora is able to do an up air off the ledge and then re-grab it. It's a very good poke from below that can be used to juggle at early percents and can be followed up with any of Sora's other aerials. This move is good to use after using aerial recovery from below, as the keyblade can be used in a similar vein to Peach's parasol. Down air is the other aerial that pops Sora up into the air, and he starts swinging the keyblade from behind him and pulls it up in front of him. It covers a large area in front of him and in back of him, making a decent short hop mix-up. Down air along with neutral air are good out of shield options, as together they create a danger zone of fast, high priority options that make your opponent second guess where and how to apply pressure to your shield. Unfortunately, Sora doesn't have the greatest body size to shield size ratio, and can be poked somewhat easier than the other characters at times, so try not to get stuck in your shield too often. Forward throw is a standard throw. Sora performs a 3-hit ground combo from his game and launches the opponent forward on the last hit. This throw is mainly good for positional advantage to get your opponent off stage. If they DI in, not wanting to get thrown off stage, you are able to link forward throw into strike rate, bringing the opponent back towards you and upwards, allowing for air combos. Back throw is another positioning throw, like forward throw. As Sora has his opponent grabbed, he turns around and launches them with the keyblade. This throw stands out among Sora's throws as it has set knockback. Because of this, you can use it to link into things like dash attack, another grab, or at the ledge at high percents, a runoff forward air. It's a very good option that not many people expect. Sora lands an upward strike and launches the opponent up with up throw, positioning the enemy above him. This throw is very good, as you're able to chain grab fast falling characters like Fox until mid to high percents. At low percents, you can up throw and link an up air into another aerial in the rest of the cast. Up throw fair and up throw thunder are good DI dependent options as well. This throw is very useful to juggle, by stringing in up tilts in between to keep your opponents in the air. Down throw involves Sora jumping into the air and flipping backwards, slamming the keyblade into the ground, launching the opponent behind him. The most common option with this throw is the chain grab that Sora has in the majority of the cast, at low to mid percents. As percents rise, down throw doesn't have as many guaranteed follow-ups. But since this throw sends opponents behind Sora and doesn't have set knockback, it can be used to regain stage control and set up an edgeguard situation. Sora's special moves are a bit unique. Across his adventures, Sora's Keyblade skill has grown considerably, and thus he has access to 10 different specials instead of the usual 4. With 3 different variations of down special, 5 different variations of side special, and his up and neutral specials, it may seem a bit overwhelming at first. Strike Rate is an ability in which Sora hurls the Keyblade at his opponent, rematerializing it in his hand afterwards, and is also his neutral special in SSF2. Sora throws the Keyblade and it travels horizontally a set distance, dealing multiple hits on the enemy and knocking them back towards Sora, allowing for many follow-ups. Once the Keyblade leaves Sora's hand, he's stuck in the throwing animation until the move finishes and the Kingdom Key reappears in his hand. This leaves Sora open for punishment if you're not careful in your positioning. This move also stalls Sora's momentum in the air, sometimes aiding his recovery. At low to mid percents, you are able to set it up after jab 2 and forward throw, adding to their follow-up options. It's one of Sora's projectile moves, and it's a very strong option in his neutral, punish, and edge guarding games. Aerial recovery was an ability that let Sora be able to recover after he was hit up into the air in Kingdom Hearts 2. In SSF2, it has a similar effect. While performing this move, he is able to cancel it into any other action without losing any momentum. This move also doesn't put him into the helpless state. It provides good vertical distance, and since it is cancelable, it gives Sora a variety of recovery mix-ups by utilizing his aerials and Flowmotion. This lets him be able to come back from almost anywhere off the stage. However, at the very top level of play, it's possible to cover most, if not all, of these options. Sora has access to 3 of the elemental spells he learned in Kingdom Hearts: Blizzard, Thunder, and Fire, in that order. These spells rotate in a fixed order, scrolling to the next spell in the command deck once the previous spell has been used. So that means you start every match with Blizzard, then once you use it, it will change to Thunder, then Fire, then back to Blizzard. Each of these moves have different properties and applications and are absolutely necessary in order to combat the SSF2 cast. Blizzard shoots a volley of ice shots, a short distance from the tip of the Keyblade. If this spell makes contact with an opponent, it will freeze them in an ice block. This is another one of Sora's main projectile moves, as it covers a good amount of horizontal space without forcing Sora to commit to one particular approach. Blizzard also has an aerial property, which stops Sora's vertical descent and keeps his horizontal momentum as he casts the spell. This is Magic Gliding, and is a fantastic mix-up. With Magic Glide Blizzard at your disposal, it greatly increases Sora's options in the neutral game, as it gives him a quick and safe projectile. This move has very little end lag, which lets you jump away or towards the opponent after your Magic Glide, granting safe escape or follow-up opportunity. Blizzard does not deal great knockback, but it's a fantastic option in the neutral game. Take advantage of the opening he gives you, whether you land it or not. After Blizzard comes Thunder. Thunder is the second spell of the command deck, and shoots an angled lightning bolt with good knockback a set distance away from the tip of Sora's Keyblade, which he holds in the air. It's an amazing anti-air move since it covers a large area above and in front of Sora. This magic spell isn't usable with Magic Glide. In the air, this spell will briefly hold Sora in place while he prepares to charge the spell, and then shoots him backwards at a downward angle. This isn't the best mix-up or movement option, but it can be used in some situations. Thunder can be a follow-up to up throw, up smash, forward, up, and back air, depending on DI and positioning. There is a guaranteed Thunder follow-up after neutral Flowmotion that hits at the base of Thunder. Keep in mind, there is a greater chance to KO the closer you are to the tip of Thunder. The final spell in Sora's arsenal is Fire. In SSF2, Fire takes inspiration from Kingdom Hearts 2's Fire spell, in which orbs of fire surround Sora and deal great damage to anything they come into contact with. Fire deals a lot of damage and knockback, and is another spell that you can Magic Glide with. The best use for this can be tech chasing, recovery mix-ups, or surprise edgeguards. The hitbox for Fire can also be deceiving, since it and Down Smash share similar animations. Down Smash's hitbox is much bigger, while Fire's covers the upper half of Sora's body. There is also a guaranteed Fire follow-up after neutral Flowmotion that can net many kills off of Flowmotion confirms at high percents. Flowmotion is Sora's side special, and it definitely brings a lot to his kit. First introducing Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance, this spell was used to give Sora increased mobility, allowing him to traverse the realm of sleep and fight enemies from many different angles. In SSF2, Flowmotion does just that. With a little bit of startup, Sora gets into position and launches forward through the air, performing one of 5 different follow-up attacks. On startup, this move can be angled up, down, or not at all, which launches Sora forward. Once the move makes contact with an opponent, Flowmotion takes a different property based on which direction you are holding once you establish the hit confirm. The input is not read until contact is made with your opponent, allowing mix-ups like a downward angled up Flowmotion, for example. The variants of Flowmotion are neutral, forward, back, up, and down. Each of these are extremely solid options with no shortage of follow-ups. Flowmotion provides a burst movement mix-up option, often allowing you to catch your opponent off guard and land a confirm. You can also tech chase with Flowmotion in a similar way Captain Falcon is able to tech chase with Raptor Boost. As mentioned before, Thunder and Fire are guaranteed follow-ups after neutral Flowmotion, Fire requiring you to jump after Flowmotion is finished. These are both great ways to convert after a Flowmotion confirm at higher percents. Blizzard and other aerials are also decent options if you happen to choose neutral flow at low to mid percents. Upward flow motion has Sora rise, spin, and strike multiple times while carrying his opponent upward with him. This variation launches the opponent upward and away from Sora while bringing them high into the air. This allows you to capitalize on the moment the opponent tries to jump out a hit stun, effectively stealing their jump and putting them into an edgeguard situation. Thunder is also a DI dependent follow-up, but with the mix-up potential of your opponent not knowing which variant of flow motion you will perform, it can reliably connect. Sora thrusts forward through the opponent, similar to a Sonic Blade ability for the forward flow motion variation. It launches your opponent upward and away from Sora while propelling him forward. This variation is really good to reposition yourself, giving you stage control, or letting you reset neutral. It's a really good variation to use from a flow motion off stage, as it will give you stage control while launching your opponent into the air, letting you capitalize on taking away their jump and pushing them off stage. You can sometimes get direct forward and up air follow-ups depending on DI and platform positioning, but they're not guaranteed, so forward flow motion is best used for positional advantage and as a movement option. If you're holding backwards as Sora hits with flow motion, Sora will teleport behind the opponent and slash them upward and away, with Sora now facing the opposite direction he was previously. Similar to forward flow, backwards flow motion is a good positioning tool, with potential for reverse edgeguard situations. An aerial is usually able to be followed up with, but at mid percent, you can sometimes link an upward angle flow motion to extend the combo string. This can lead to some interesting ladder-esque flow motion combos, so definitely try various options and variations to follow your opponent's DI afterwards. Finally, downwards flow motion, which Sora does multiple aerial flips and slashes directly above the opponent, stunning them in place in the process. Since you're in the air and you hold the other player in place, this variant can be followed up by pretty much any aerial, with forward and neutral air being the easier ones to land. Blizzard is another good option afterwards, giving you a better chance to start a combo with the move and positioning of your choosing. Overall, flow motion is one of Sora's best moves, providing movement options, combo starters, extenders, and enders, and multiple ways of recovery. This move can be shielded, however, so be sure to control Sora's aerial drift away from opponents as to not get shield grabbed. Some out of shield options will still be able to punish though. Every character in Smash has some character-specific nuances, and SSF2 Beta Sora is no different. He has several good techniques and tricks that aren't very well known that I would like to address. Flow dashing is a tech that's been carried over from previous versions of Sora. However, its application is a little bit different than before. This tech allows you to do a quick slide and initiate an action while sliding with forward momentum. To perform it, you simply angle a flow motion downward towards the ground in the direction you want to slide. This works because the game carries over Sora's horizontal momentum when he's pushed towards the ground at an angle. In previous versions of SSF2, the slide would completely cancel out any sort of lag from flow motion, making it a bit more versatile. In Beta, however, it's been somewhat balanced and giving landing lag. It is still an amazing option, as you're able to edge cancel the lag using the slide fairly easily, providing more movement options. Quick grounded options such as down tilt and jab can also be used at a flow dash's slide and very often catch many opponents off guard. Magic Glide is a tech specific to the Blizzard and Fire variants of Sora's down special. These moves stall Sora in the air while he performs them, but they don't lock his horizontal movement in any way. This means you are able to Magic Glide by carrying over your momentum to the casting of the spells. This tech is extremely vital to Sora's neutral game, as the gliding part of casting Blizzard allows Sora to phase through walls created by your opponent's moves and pressure them with an approach. It's a very basic tech that I'm sure most Sora players are aware of, but I feel I need to re-emphasize how important Magic Glide can be, especially for recovery and movement in the neutral game. Another tech involving flow motion is flow cancelling. It's a tech in which you switch the variation of flow motion you choose with the startup of another variation. It works because the window where the game checks which variant of flow motion you chose overlaps with certain variants of flow motion when performed on the first frame possible. This tech is performed if you are already holding the direction of your initial variant, then during the startup of the move, instantly hold the direction you want to cancel into. In previous versions, there was a bit more variability in which flow motions could be cancelled into what, but in SSF2 Beta, its uses have become a little bit more limited. My personal favorite is an upward flow cancel down flow motion. Sora rises with his opponent, which is part of the upward flow motion property. However, he performs a downward flow motion, holding the opponent in place, allowing for an aerial follow-up from up high. A down flow cancelled forward is also a good option in situations where you would normally forward flow motion, due to it having extra hits and dealing more damage, but it's also somewhat hard to pull off due to its strict timing. Aerial recovery, Sora's up special, is very unique. When used in midair, this move has a very special property which allows it to cancel into various moves mid-animation. This has been dubbed as Aerial Recovery Cancelling, or ARC for short. ARC aerials seem to come out quicker than simple double jump aerials, and special moves can be instantly done after the initiation of aerial recovery. This leads to many combo extending opportunities and recovery mix-ups. In Melee, you're able to cancel your running animation with crouch, allowing for extended options like precise jab placements or things like forward and down smashes while remaining mobile. In SSF2, you can actually cancel any point of your dash or run animation with crouch, which opens up a multitude of movement, offensive and defensive options that aren't able to be employed in other Smash games. This is known as dash cancelling, and is SSF2's most important tech. While it's common knowledge amongst most competitive players, I feel the need to emphasize this tech to the community, as many players still remain unaware exactly how important this tech is. If I were to put it on the terms of the other games, this is SSF2's wave dashing, and should be mastered if you are to compete at a high level. For Sora and other characters that have a quick and longer initial dash momentum, dash cancelling is extremely important, as it provides extremely precise movement on a micro-spacing level, and opens up many of the options in this guide. This is a very basic tech, but mastery of it goes a long way. Overall, Sora has some great movement tools that allow him to be speedy and put pressure on his opponents, which he does need to do since certain zoning-based characters can give Sora some trouble, being able to stuff out many of his approach options. Sora does have an insane forward smash, but he doesn't always have setups on it on all characters outside of jab. At those higher percents, when it becomes harder to combo into an edge guard, neutral flow motion can combo into thunder or fire and will finish a stock off him. This hopefully alleviates a negative stigma that Sora had in the previous versions of SSF2, of him not being able to finish off stocks. With good approach options, a good dash dance, a morph-like down tilt, and an unmatched offstage game, Sora has many of the standard tools necessary to threaten his opponents. While Sora can be good at cross-ups, he can't reliably land in front of his opponent's shield very often, and he doesn't have many safe ground moves to continue his pressure in a way that can get him reliable follow-ups outside of a predictable dash attack or jab. That being said, Sora is fairly standard on defense. Down air and nair out of shield are incredibly useful, allowing him to move out of shield quickly. However, there aren't many other options he is able to take out of shields besides that, other than the basic roll and spot dodge options. While his grab does have good range, in general, he would prefer to use his movement to avoid attacks, since he doesn't have a lot of defensive moves that can wall out the other characters. Sora is currently ranked 27th out of 39 characters in the SSF2 1.02 official tier list that was put together by the SSF2 backroom on the McLeod Gaming forums. However, I don't think there has been much development in many of the supposed low tiers metas. I personally believe it's still too early, with too little results and research data done on each character. While I do think there is some merit to the backroom's decision in the tier list they've created, I honestly believe a large part of this tier list will change extremely drastically in the future. With that in mind, I urge everyone to do their own research on the game and its characters and form your own opinions. In general, Sora plays a well-rounded game that can deal with anyone on the roster. Whether you're brand new to SSF2 or you're an experienced Keyblade builder, I hope you were able to take something away from this guide. There is so very much to learn, but if we want to line all the pieces up, we must work together as a community and to continue to push the meta in a positive direction with clear, concise communication. Come join us at the heart of the kingdom, the Sora Discord. We have discussions on Sora, his place in the metagame, and have a pretty good time together. The game evolves every day, so be sure to keep a lookout for any major meta shifts that are likely in store. I'm Lamp, I appreciate your time. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment or message me on Twitter. Till next time, later!